All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're going to get Montana from the left and Montana from the right here this morning. So thank you, Senator Tester. And I want to tell you, a month ago today, I was with Leader McConnell and several senators. We were in Baghdad and Erbil, followed by a visit to Kabul and Jalalabad. I think we were all struck, profoundly struck, by the men and women who are serving our country over there, and we could not have been prouder, truly, of seeing what they're doing and accomplishing the mission. Back to the question of the C-130s, kind of building on what Senator Tester asked. I think we all have concerns with the AMP program that will be FAA certified by 2020. What is a better path you might suggest we go down to make sure that these planes are certified and flyable by 2020?
Sir, we have been working with the Air Force closely to leverage what we could off of the existing AMP program, take the best of that, and then put it into the airplanes as we go down, first in one increment of safety and compliance, and kind of what the Senator Tester was referring to. And then there's another increment that follows on for more modernization efforts. But that safety and compliance piece is the part that gets us to that 2020 mandate for both domestic airspace purposes and international purposes.
So, General, do you see a path forward then, perhaps? I guess the concern right now with our airmen in Montana is we just don't see a path right now to certify by 2020. Do you see a clear path there?
This is one hot topic, and we have been really burning the midnight oil to get this right. And thanks to cooperation with the entire Air Force, we're there. We believe we have a very solid plan now to get this done. And it's supported by the bodies of adjutants generals who have seen the plan, they like it, and they agree that we can move forward.
That's good news. Look forward to working with you on that, John, and we can help you to accomplish that goal. And following up on the 130s, and maybe this is for both Generals Clark and Grass, there's a concerning that we would soon be looking at a scenario where the older C-130s, the H models, are in the Guard, and all the newer Model Js are in active duty.
Yes, sir. In time, we've taken front seat on newer airplanes, either in the Guard or the regular Air Force. It's gone back and forth. We do own the legacy fleet largely now in the Air National Guard, and to a certain degree also the Air Force Reserve. But you know, the reason that we want to retool this AMP program is we don't want to put a lot of modernization money into airplanes that eventually we like to recapitalize. To give you a simple analogy, we're still running races with Richard Petty era cars, but we're still winning the race. But at some point, you need to replace that car with something that's faster, modern, new, and is going to keep up with the rest of the competition. And the airplanes we're flying now are old. In January, the Secretary of the Air Force and I flew on a 1972 model C-130 that was originally bought by the U.S. Navy, then retired and put in the boneyard, pulled back out, now flown by the New York Air National Guard to do a ski mission in Antarctica, austere conditions. And we put the Secretary of the Air Force on the airplane. We had that much confidence we can keep this airplane going now. I don't think that's the future, though. We need to replace these airplanes at some point. So minimum modernization to a certain degree, and then recapitalization with new airplanes down the road. That's the pathway that I think is best.
Senator Tester brought up the 219th and 819th Red Horse issue we have in Montana. Any suggestions what we should be doing to make this case of Secretary James in terms of the synergy between those two units? Because I think it really is a 1 + 1 = 3 type of synergy we have in Montana. What suggestion might you have we can make the case to Secretary James that we keep the unit there?
Sure, I have full faith and confidence that Secretary James will do the best she can to make sure that there is something there for the Guardsmen in Montana with the Red Horse unit, and General Welsh as well. They believe in the ability of what we can do in support of things around the world and at home should there be a disaster. And Red Horse mission is one of those great dual-purpose missions for us. So I have the confidence that she will continue to support efforts for Red Horse at large. And when it comes to Montana, we'll work out a solution, hopefully, that will allow us to put the Guardsmen to work there in a Red Horse squadron.
One of the important missions of the C-130 certainly, we see that in North Carolina, is the MAPS, the firefighting systems. Given that we have a lot of wildfires out west, just look at acreage, millions of acres oftentimes, do you think it might make sense to maybe move some MAPS capabilities out west, perhaps those C-130s?
Sir, this is another one of those requirements that we only see growing, and particularly this year is going to be quite problematic. So if we have the ability to move MAFs equipment for firefighting purposes further west, I think that's probably a good idea.
Right. Thank you, General.